Hello everyone, it's another episode of Andy's Free Guitar Chart videos here. And welcome to my YouTube subscribers and my Facebook group friends, and anyone who's found this video. Please like and subscribe, share, and you can access the Andy's Free Guitar Chart videos Facebook group by following the instructions below. On any or most of the videos that I had a little technical difficulty getting the link posted yesterday. Apologies to there. So we're going to jump right into today's charts, which is really exciting because, well, before we do that, we look at yesterday's chart. What we have here is essentially the ups and the downs of the longs and the short patterns. Okay, so as you know, when you move something, when you go up one string, you're going to the fifth string shape. So the fifth string shape of G, of C is G, the fifth string shape. So we go up, it's going to the fifth string shape. When we go down, say D to G, we're going to D's fourth. Okay, and that kind of thing. And yesterday's lesson, we kind of muddled through this, and it seemed like we didn't really come away with something we could really grab onto and just start playing away, right? Like we could do the pentatonics. Okay. Those are the short pentatonics, and here's the short patterns here. This is, of course, P4 tuning. So yesterday we ran into a few snags, you know, moving the patterns up and the patterns down. It can get a little complicated. Okay, so to avoid complications, I kind of had a brainstorm. And that was, let's go back to basics. True Long Pattern Pentatonics, S2Ls, S3Ss, root 2-3, S3XLs, you know, the root 2-3 string on the S3XL. It's an S1XL. It's S1E XL or ER23. That's the walkover to the walkovers R2 of the S3S. So let's look at R2, the S3S. So now we're going to be looking back at P4 tuning. So let's first review for people who don't know what P4 tuning is. When we look at the tuning on the guitar, okay, here's the normal fret nut, and then my guitar is down tuned 2 whole steps. It's just a coincidence that root 2-3 is there, so it makes it kind of easy for my guitar to play in C. Right, root 2-3 there. The 7 is just drawn for completeness of the E extra large cage. So in your normal guitar fretboard, no matter where you are horizontally, we've got the S1 string. Some of you may say this is the S6 string. It doesn't matter, whatever you call it. It's going to be the low E string, A, the D, the G, and then there's a third between the G and the B. And then the E there. So we have a perfect fourth between the E and the A string, perfect fourth between the A and the D string, perfect fourth between the D and the G string, and then a perfect third between the G and the B string, and a perfect fourth between the B and the E string. Okay, so that's what regular tuning is. P4 tuning is just all perfect fourths. So instead of G going to B, it would go to C. Okay, and if that was over here, you would see that as a C over here. So here's your tuning. E would be the third in the key of C, A is the sixth, D is the second of the key of C, G is the fifth in the key of C, and then we would go up a perfect fourth here. We have to go up one fret to maintain a fourth there, because the tuning is only a third there. It's purposely tuned down. Okay. Alright, the G. Okay, and then to a fourth, we have to go up one fret. So we bring the pattern up one fret. So the patterns are done in P4 tuning. So all of the patterns, I've made a little note here, P4 pattern. Okay, P4 patterns. P4 patterns. So we're dealing with P4 patterns. That means that if any of these 3-string pattern here, this 3-string pattern, called stack of 3 short, S3S, if this is from string, the bottom 4 strings, it's just going to play just the way it is, because the bottom 4 strings are P4 tuning. Right? So, for instance, in the D box, this is one step lower than you can normally play, but we'd have 2, 3, 5, 6, root 2. Okay? But if we started that, let's look for that root 2 up here, right here. If we started that in the C box, okay, so C would go like this. Then we got 2, 3, 5, 6. We'd have to play up one, or it would sound like that. Okay? So in the C box, we would bring up the top part of this, would go up one fret. So in actuality, you'd be playing something that looks more like this. Okay? So that's when we implement the P4 tuning onto a fretboard that has a tuning third embedded in it somewhere. Now the reason why the patterns, let's look at the longer pattern boxes or whatever, maybe back here a little bit. The reason why the patterns aren't shown with the tuning third, again, is because we never know where the tuning third is going to be, depending on where we start. But we just build this pattern. So we build it in 2 boxes. So all pentatonics are really based on these 2 boxes. Okay, we have the S2L here. I don't want that gray color. I have to have a brighter color than that. We have the S2L, right? And then we have the S3S. These are pentatonics. And then just on top of that, the S3L. Now in the S2L, rather, the 4 and the 7 are in between, so they can hang out in there. It doesn't really change the shape of the box. The 4 and the 7 in the S3D just means 3 string shapes from the D, D, A, and E. The 4 and the 7 are on the outside there, so it changes the shape of the box. That's why we call this S3S, stack of 3 short. So our pentatonic is just going to be building these squares on top of one another, left justified, so the drift goes to the left. Okay? Now we don't know where the tuning third is. You could start on 2 on the bottom. If we start on 2 on the bottom, right, then we get 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, root 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's the tuning third, 6, 7, root. Started on 2 on the bottom. The 5th string was the 6. See, if we started on 6 on the bottom, let's say we want to play, I don't know, a D minor, or I guess a D minor Aeolian, it'd be 6, root 2, 3, 5, 6. Okay, then root 2. Now we're going to have to bring up this, let's see, what did we do? We started here. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have to bring the 3 over. Okay, let's try that again. Right there, we brought the 6 over. Okay, the 6 is right here. Sorry about that. I bobbled that scale. But we started from the